some reason, the machine learning algorithm is telling me to eat all these Tide Pods. I guess I gotta do it. Not sponsored by Tide. Alright, in this video I'm gonna tell you how to become a machine learning engineer in 2020, or maybe why you might want to be one. So a machine learning engineer is a relatively new job, because 5 years ago there wasn't a need for businesses for these people that made these machine learning algorithms. Well, it was only until very recently that these businesses needed these kind of people to make the machine learning algorithms and to, I guess, manipulate the data into something useful. So since machine learning is so new, it might be a good idea to hop on the train early before everyone hops on the train, so you can get experience early and you can become more senior than anyone else. Once the train, I guess, starts to leave the station, it's going to be overcrowded and it'll be hard to get a job in machine learning. And currently right now, it should be relatively easy for around an entry-level machine learning engineer to earn near the six-figure mark in the salary per year. And if we're comparing machine learning to software engineers, machine learning engineers will make around 11K higher than software engineers, and software engineers already make a decent amount of money per year. And the reason these machine learning engineers will make higher is because you need to, I guess, have more experience, because machine learning is more specified than software engineering. So you need more experience in machine learning, you need to learn the algorithms, and you might need to go for more schooling. So now we'll get on to how to become a machine learning engineer. So there's two ways generally to become a machine learning engineer. So the first way I want to talk about is you start off as a regular software engineer, and then you specify, I guess, get more specified from there, and you become more, I guess, you learn more about how to implement these machine learning algorithms. So many people start out with a master's or a PhD to become these machine learning engineers. So maybe in computer science or math, or maybe physics or statistics, and some kind of field like that is what a lot of people start out with to go into machine learning and AI. So while I guess a lot of people generally require a master's or PhD, it still is possible to become, I guess, work as a machine learning engineer with only a bachelor's degree, and you just might need to catch up, maybe take some online courses or something like that to catch up with all the machine learning that you didn't catch in undergraduate, because a lot of undergraduates do not teach much about machine learning or AI. And the other path of becoming I guess, machine learning engineer is just not even being a software engineer in your start. You just start learning all the machine learning algorithms just from the get-go, and you just start along the path of learning everything related to machine learning. And this path is going to be the hardest path, because you'll need to have a solid grasp of everything machine learning. So this includes statistics. You need to know a lot of statistics to predict different models and stuff like that as a machine learning engineer. And the reason I'm specifying statistics so much is because it is really needed. And as a physics major myself, I study a lot of statistics. And what I've found with physics is that nothing is guaranteed. You can't, just how you can't predict the position and the momentum of a particle perfectly, well, you can't predict a lot of things in real life perfectly either. And that's why statistics is needed to give you what kind of certainty that you are to be able to predict something. So another thing a machine learning engineer will need to do is you'll need to know how to fit the model, or get the model to fit the data correctly. Another thing you might need to learn to become a machine learning engineer is some machine learning libraries. And some of them are something like TensorFlow, Scikit, or Spark. So another thing that you might need to learn is some system design, so that you can understand how the whole system, the whole machine learning ecosystem, how it's all going to fit together and how it all interacts with each other. So one thing to note about the location, if you want to be working as a machine learning engineer, is that it's usually going to be in big cities. So what I mean by big cities, so it's something like the Bay Area, LA, DC, Seattle, New York. Those are all relatively big cities, and they have big tech populations. So if you want to work as a machine learning engineer and you're not in one of these big cities, or maybe a city of similar size, then you might want to consider moving there, because it's going to be hard to find a job. If you're like in the middle of like Montana, where there's nothing but forest. Actually, I don't know Montana. No offense to people from Montana. I don't know much about it, but that's what comes to my mind when not a big city. So yeah, you might want to consider moving there, because it's just going to be kind of almost impossible to find a job in something like machine learning when you're not from a big city like that. And I guess the reason behind that is because there's so few machine learning jobs that the only way you're going to find one is when there's like a big company that will offer it, because you need to have a lot of data for machine learning, and only the big companies will have a lot of the data that you need. All right, so now I want to get into what a machine learning engineer actually does. And I worked a little bit in machine learning with AWS. I try to do some modeling and stuff with using their own like way to solve machine learning problems. But a machine learning engineer will work on a bunch of different things, something like natural language processing. So that's kind of like where you talk into like your phone, and it'll kind of process what you want, it'll get what you want to say, and it'll process that and I guess send a response back to you. Another thing it could be doing is forecasting, maybe forecasting like how many sales we're going to get this next year, because that's important for a company, because they'll need to know how much product to order. So another thing you might be doing is with computer vision. So like you might have a bunch of different videos, like a bunch of different like video files, and you'll need to know what is in these files, like what does the computer see. And you need to know that because like there's a bunch of camera footage everywhere nowadays. Like people have it in stores, and you might say like, oh, depending on the like where something is put in the store, you might want to see where does this person walk around the store so that we can see what they want to buy. So language is also important as well. Like if you want to translate from one language to another, machine learning helps with that. And there's also a recommendation engine. So like for example, like when you're looking at Amazon and it's trying to recommend you what to buy, there's a bunch of machine learning behind that. And it'll go through all the possible things, what you looked at before and what similar people have looked at before, and then it'll combine all that into show you what you want to buy. All right, now onto the question of what do machine learning engineers use? How do they get all of this working? And what language they'll use? So they'll usually use Python, Java, or R as their language of choice, but of course you can use any language. So many other languages are starting to build libraries for machine learning. And why I specify libraries is because without a good library, machine learning, it's really difficult to do machine learning. Because why do something when it's already done by a library? That's kind of why Java, R, and Python they have a lot of libraries for it. And of course there's like JavaScript is starting to implement some libraries. And you might think of JavaScript as, oh wait, hey, that's a language only used for like front-end people. And that's not entirely true. You can use it for the backend as well, and you can use it for machine learning. There's people developing for libraries for that as well. So you don't have to stick to like 3 languages, but in the industry it will generally be Python, R, or Java. So another thing to note is that machine learning is one of the most cutting fields in that cutting edge fields. It doesn't cut you. I hope it doesn't, but it's cutting edge in that it is so new, so there's always going to be new things that you're going to have to learn whenever something new comes out, like a new machine learning model. And with all these new, I guess, technologies, you're going to have to be learning constantly. So even if you think you know machine learning now, you're going to have to know something completely new in like 5-10 years. And so if you're not ready for that, maybe machine learning engineering or machine learning isn't necessarily for you if you don't like learning. And one of the reasons I'm making this video is because think of the amount of jobs the millions of jobs that machine learning is going to take away. Some people say it's going to take away like 2 million jobs. Like if we have self-driving trucks, we have people we don't have people in like fast food places anymore. It's all automated by robots. That would be amazing. But that would be so many jobs taken away. And you might be asking, what are we going to do when so many people get their jobs taken away? And that is a good question. And the rest of the people have to learn the tools of the trade and start to learn machine learning. This is why I recommend getting on the boat right now for machine learning before it becomes much more popular. So to think back to a similar case in history when people were replaced by technology, I want to look at the printing press. So what happened before the printing press? People wrote down all their information on like a paper, or they used very basic tools to have the information printed on a paper until the printing press came about. And what the printing press did, it kind of took the people's jobs of people who couldn't have to write on paper anymore. So the people who were, I guess, initially writing the paper, they learned how to operate and they used these printing presses. So they evolved and I guess adapted to their surroundings. Evolved, adapted. I feel like a biology teacher. It's because I was a biology teacher. But anyways, they adapted, and this will be the same thing that happens with AI and machine learning. People are going to have to adapt to these new kind of jobs that are appearing with AI and machine learning, and the other jobs like fast food and truck driving might be taken away. I mean, I don't know. But anyways, I believe that machine learning is really a top job right now, and I think it'll grow tremendously in the future. And I recommend it to get into it as much as possible. Well, anyways, that is the end of this video. Thanks for watching. I will see you later.